Hello and welcome back to An Old Man Watches, where today I will be talking about Baz Luhrmann's bombastic 2001 musical extravaganza Moulin Rouge. And the film opens in 1900 in Paris. Christian, a young writer depressed and grief-stricken about the recent death of the woman he loved, begins writing their story on his typewriter. So, a year earlier, Christian arrived in Paris to join the Bohemian movement. He falls in with a troupe of performers who are writing a play called Spectacular, Spectacular. After Christian helps them complete the play, they go to the Moulin Rouge, where they hope Christian's talents will impress Satine, the star performer and courtesan of the establishment, to support the show. Through a comedy of errors, when Satine meets Christian, she mistakes him for a wealthy duke rather than a penniless author. She attempts to seduce him in hopes that he will fund the production of a stage show that would allow her to go from being a courtesan to a real actress. This mistaken identity does get cleared up before too much happens, but not before Satine and Christian have become utterly smitten with each other. Thus, if you will forgive the expression, the stage is set. Satine and Christian must keep their romance a secret while working together on Spectacular, Spectacular, which the real Duke is financing. Of course, old Dukey expects a little quid pro quo from Satine for all the money he's providing, which rather complicates matters. Oh, and there's also the slight issue that Satine is dying of tuberculosis, which I figure is not really a spoiler, given the opening scene of the movie. So the plot of Moulin Rouge was heavily inspired by the opera La Bohème, with stylistic inspiration coming from Baz Luhrmann's experience of Bollywood films earlier in the 90s. The production itself took place in Sydney and apparently largely went smoothly, except for Nicole Kidman, who suffered multiple broken ribs and a knee injury. So, although, I read it went smoothly, I also think, how smoothly did it really go? Anyway, the film opened to positive reviews and a solid box office. It would receive 8 Academy Award nominations, including for Best Picture and Best Lead Actress, but would ultimately only win the Oscars for art direction and costume design, pipping the first Lord of the Rings movie in both categories. So I saw Moulin Rouge in theatres back in 2001, and I've seen it twice more on home media since then. So it's safe to say that I enjoy it, but I don't think it will be to all tastes. Let's talk about why. And the first thing, of course, is that you have to be okay with musicals. If you're one of those people who has a fundamental issue with the format, this film is not going to change your mind. The second thing is you have to be on board with a movie that's unashamedly emotionally manipulative. Actually, scratch that. Manipulative says some kind of subtlety or finesse, and there's none of that to be found here. Moulin Rouge assaults your emotions rather like a charging rhino. Now, of course, depending on your psychological makeup, this assault might not hit or might even miss you completely. I'm somewhat in the miss category myself, for reasons we'll get into later, but there are quite a few people in tears when I saw it at the cinema 25 years ago, including the friend that I saw it with, so for some people it does hit hard. Like Mamma Mia 7 years later, Moulin Rouge asks its leading actors to sing, and like Mamma Mia, this leads to some varied outcomes. Nicole Kidman can carry a tune okay, but her voice isn't the richest or most textured, while Ewan McGregor tends to rely more on volume than skill. Now, they're both way better than Pierce Brosnan, but that's very faint praise. So if part of what you enjoy in a musical is the craft of the songs, particularly the singing, you're going to be better off watching Frozen or the Wicked movies, as when it comes to the vocal performances, the cast in those movies are a significant step above the cast in this one. They've cast here, I guess, more for name recognition than singing. But some people might enjoy the relative rawness of the vocal performances. They might feel that it leads a certain authenticity that particularly Ewan McGregor, who is, has a character who is not a trained singer, isn't the greatest singer in the world. And others won't care much one way or the other, I guess. Only you can know which bucket you're in when it comes to this question. And I expect many people will either love or hate this film, but personally, I'm kind of in the middle on it, leaning towards enjoy because it is very pretty to watch and very colourful and full of good numbers. I have no issue with musicals, nor with crude emotional manipulation in a film, at least not when it's so open about it. But I found that some of the details of the romance did throw off my enjoyment a little. Specifically, I feel a bit uncomfortable about Christian's persistence in the face of Satine's attempts to deny her attraction or end their relationship. Now, while in the context of the film, it's clear that Satine wants Christian as much as he does her, I can't be helped but be reminded that in the real world, there are men who attempt to browbeat women into accepting dates with them, even though the woman has expressly said that she doesn't want to. So, I did find that aspect a bit off-putting, and it undermined my enjoyment. This was much more a factor in my recent rewatches than it was when I first saw it 25 years ago. Mind you, culture has changed. Still, if you're not put off by any of that, you should probably give the film a try. It is a pretty fun romp. Next time, the 2024 fantasy historical adventure series Renegade Nell. It only ran for one season of 9 episodes, but it told a complete story in that run, so it's, a complete show. But that is next time. Until then, thanks for watching. I hope you've enjoyed it, and if you've seen Moulin Rouge, let me know what you thought of it.